Hello, everybody.
Hi.
This podcast is called Mathematician and Musician. I'm Mike Azarin,
I'm Dennis Kalos.
and we're going to be talking a little bit.
I'm a musician,
And I'm a mathematician.
and together we are
Mathematician and Musician. And we're standing here in the rain. We were just having some excellent conversation about psychedelics and the nature of psychedelics.
The rain just happened to die down when we started the podcast. It's crazy.
Yo, I think it's like a divine revelation.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, divine intervention, I mean. And so we were having this really interesting conversation, and Dennis was like, yo, we should start a podcast. Just now, about 30 seconds ago. And I was like, yeah, let's do it, like right now.
Yeah. The rain makes a really good setting for a conversation, I feel like.
I agree. And so, okay, what do you want to reiterate the point you make about, like, abstraction?
Okay, yeah. So basically, we were having a conversation about what LSD or shrooms does to your brain, and we were basically talking about how it opens up your perspectives in things in the world, and well, I'll let you explain your view on it.
So, my take is that there is so much information to be extracted, and very useful information. A lot of people go out their lives thinking, like, oh, I know so much. But people vastly underestimate the amount they don't know. Even, like, you don't even realize it. At the end of the late 1800s, early 1900s, there was this physicist that said something along the lines of, like, we figured everything out up to the 4th decimal place, now we need to figure out the 5th decimal place and beyond. A couple years later, Einstein made relativity and basically showed that everything they knew about physics was wrong.
Uh-huh.
And so, my point is, we vastly underestimate the amount we don't know. And LSD could show us these things that we have half metabolized, half baked in our minds, and make us
We could get into the chemical, like, analysis or what it does to your brain, but generally for what we're discussing, we're at the point where we're just using the innate idea that LSD does that and shrooms do that. So
yeah, it makes you more open, right?
Yeah.
Just vaguely that's basically what it does.
Well, yeah. That's something it does do, so.
Yeah, well, not the thing. It also makes you make more connections between things and various other things. But that's the gist of it. And so, Dennis made a really interesting point, which was, if you make
So basically what I was saying was, what if you are, because LSD opens your brain, what if you become so open to different perspectives that you sit down and you have a normal conversation with some everyday person who has never taken anything and it just has their normal belief system and has their straight line path, right? Do you think that there's a point where you take so much LSD or shrooms that you basically start to not be able to have a conversation with an everyday person, and you just can't really relate to people? Because to me, as a musician, it's very important that I relate to people, right? In my songs and the things I write, it's very important that while I can tell a deeper story, someone can say, oh, he's talking about, I don't know, this girl, let's say a random girl named Maurice. I have my own Maurice back at home, and I'm thinking about her. It's like you have your own relatability, and I think that's important for me, for my own life.
Yeah, so I think you make a really interesting point. And I think there are levels to the ability to think, right? So I saw this really interesting video called Levels of Thinking, where I got this idea from. I'll link it in the description if we end up posting this on YouTube or something. But the idea is, on the first level, you have, like, people just reacting, right? Their basic needs, like wiping their ass, right? The amount of thinking that requires is like a level 1 thinking process, right? And then you have level 2, which is, like, thinking about the fact that other people, right, think about things. And then level 3, realizing that other people have relationships between each other, right? And then you have, they keep so on and so forth, right? And you keep adding these layers of abstraction, basically, and layers of deeper, like, openness and understanding. And so, at like, let's say, like, level 4 or something, you get
on your lip. Sorry.
No worries. What is it?
It's like right on your lip.
Oh, it's like food?
Yeah, I don't know.
Ew. Okay.
It's on your chin now.
It's probably. Oh, I haven't eaten anything recently, so.
Okay, you're good.
Okay.
Sorry.
Probably just like
I couldn't catch
something
my
from
boy
the wind.
tripping. I couldn't keep my boy looking goofy.
Yeah.
I had to get him right. Okay, anyway, what were you saying?
So like at a certain level, let's say like level 4. Obviously, this is not a perfect analogy to how people actually think, but whatever. You know, once you get to level 4, let's say, you're able to think in levels 1, 2, and 3, and 4.
Okay.
The issues with level 4 is you may be at that level of abstraction where you are abstract enough where you realize that level 1, 2, and 3 are not that sophisticated, and you might think that levels 1, 2, and 3 are not right ways of thinking. But then if you ascend higher up the ladder, you
realize that number 4.
Your number 4 is just as
yeah.
primitive as 1, 2, and 3, and so you become able to relate to everybody. You ascend yeah, that is a place you get to, but then you ascend further,
sure,
and you get to the point.
I don't know if thinking about the different levels as being primitive. I think that easily someone. It's really interesting. I think easily someone who's a level 1 thinker and someone who's a level 5 thinker, based off the analogy you're saying, if their brain in their own understanding in the real world without taking anything that literally breaks the layers off of them, if they're able to find their own way in life to see a different perspective, then innately they're going to have an understanding that even though it's not as fully in depth and it's not fully as put into words in a really beautiful way as the person who's level 5, they can still hold a conversation. For example, he's a mathematician, I'm a musician, right? And you know, the thing is, he can talk to me about math problems and I can talk to him about music, and obviously we're not going to fully understand what the other is talking about, but because we have innate knowledge about life in general, there's just things in every single field of anything that have a certain relatability to where I can give him something to work with that he, in his own way, can interpret, right? Like, we were talking earlier about this problem with circles, right?
Yeah.
And he was talking about how if you put points around this circle, and you put points around those circles infinitely, there's actually a pattern.
The problem was, take a point, in case anybody is like interested in math a little bit, take a point centered at take a point, right? So let's say the origin, then draw the circle of radius 1 centered at this point, right? At random, pick a point on the circumference of this circle. Let's call that point P. Then make a new circle centered at P. And then you get a new circle, let's call it C. Take a point on C, make a new circle, like at random, and call that point P1. Then make a new circle, C1, centered at P1, and then repeat infinitely. And we're trying to figure out, where does this, do these points follow some distribution, and where do they converge to?
Sorry, I was distracted because somebody walking past is like a guy at my Berkeley program, and he's just getting soaked in rain right now.
Oh my god.
He's right there.
I do.
He's just walking. He's not even in a hurry. He's just getting soaked.
He's just chill. He's just like nonchalant. But that was more for the audience, in case like anybody like more into math. That was the problem.
If anybody is not into math, I can explain it in a simpler way, but still like kind of get. So yeah, it's basically like if you had points in a circle, any point around a circle, if you put a circle at that point and then you put a point in that circle, you would think that there's no pattern, but there actually is, and it makes like a fractal image basically, or something along those lines. And I basically said, he said something to the point where like, there is a pattern, but there's still this small number of things that are kind of random. And I made this like pretty primitive comparison to how a circle has like 3 equal parts, and then it has this like 4th part that's pi, and it's just kind of like a little thing.
What he's talking about is the fact that if you take the amount of times the diameter wraps around the circumference, you get 3 and then a little bit more. And he made that analogy. But yeah.
And so he was like, oh, I thought that was interesting, because it's like, it's somewhat related. So what I'm saying is, even though I'm not a mathematician, I still kind of basically understand the philosophy behind it, I guess, right?
Yeah, close enough. But
I get the gist.
Yeah, he gets the gist, the jizzert. And so I think this is in some ways related to like Gen Z humor. You know, like with boomer humor, right? Like, or for example, when people started using the word cool, right? Even though like a lot of like the older generations at the time probably never heard the word cool, they had similar words like swell and neat, right?
Yeah.
And so
Totally tubular.
yeah, like tubular. I think tubular was later, but like, you know, they got it because they shared this common knowledge, right? But
Common ball knowledge.
Yeah, common ball knowledge, right? But Gen Z, our knowledge is the internet. So to understand something like skibbity toilet, or like to understand something like aura and aura maxing, right? You need to be on TikTok.
Yeah.
The reality that you are deriving, the Gen Z is deriving our slang from, is not shared with the older generations. They're just not part of the
They
same
built their
society.
own universe.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, to kind of add on to that sort of thing, we kind of talk about how we both love understanding things and the knowledge of things. I do kind of believe that there's a difference in the motive behind why sometimes, and that just has to do with our individual goals, right? It just has to do with the fact that Micah loves having other people understand things and loves when he can say something to someone and they can understand it from the words that he uses. And he thinks it's a beautiful, eloquent thing. And I agree, but I think my goal personally is to be able to use things in the real world that exist to create and use them in my own universe with its own rules as a creator, as someone who writes and makes things, because I am a songwriter, musician, and a lot of the things I write about have to do with my knowledge, but also have to do with how I use my knowledge in my own way. Like in the idea of even if you don't know a lot, you can still take so much out of the little knowledge. And it's interesting because I did say something about, there's only so much knowledge, but I actually really disagree with the way I said it, because even in the little knowledge that people have, there's so much you can take from that in and of itself, right? Like, there's so many bebop players, so many blues players, jazz players who don't know everything, but they know enough of the little things inside of it to make and take things that are just completely different.
Yeah, like they know like the principles, right? It's like Pareto's principle. Like 80% of results come from 20% of efforts, right? If you know just the right 20%, right? You know like just the precise like most knowledge gaining, most like knowledge generating principles, right? These very basic things that can give you a lot, like, you know, a lot for cheap.
Like I was telling Micah about,
and you can get a lot from them.
Yeah. I was telling Micah about this very, very famous jazz guitarist. If any of you are musicians, you probably know who I'm about to talk about. His name is Joe Pass. Probably, arguably the most influential jazz guitarist to ever live. He has this very famous interview where he talks about, obviously jazz is 2-5-1 progression, right? He talks about how when he solos, a lot of the time, especially in bebop, he's not really thinking about the 2. He's only thinking about the 5. Because a 2 is just the extension of the 5. And so when he solos or improvises, he doesn't have to use the knowledge of the 2, but he uses a deeper, more more innate knowledge about both of them to say that I don't need one. I have so much understanding about both that I understand that maybe only using the 5 is just more efficient. You know, because then you have chord charts, right? And you have 6 chords per line. Now, you only have 3 chords per line. And you can solo just so much more efficiently and beautifully and more simplistically. Because jazz ultimately is not just beauty in all the different choices you can make, but it's beauty in the simplicity of the choices that you make. Which is why jazz is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if you've ever heard of chess.
I haven't.
It's like chess, but like there's like one extra rule, and I forget what it is. And, you know, we study different mathematical objects because of their elegance, right? And chess may have some very interesting like mathematical results that you could prove about it, but like we just don't, because like it's it's just like, you know, it's nobody cares, right? Nobody would want to do that. It doesn't really, you know, yield. I mean, some people do, but it doesn't necessarily yield much that's interesting or much that's different from chess. And a lot of times we do care about abstraction for its own sake, but that yields applications in different other math fields, right? And and I guess the field of like mathematical chess is kind of growing, but
they're merging, right? Isn't it like the whole thing? Mathematicians just kind of want to merge everything.
Yeah, like their
one
goal.
melting pot.
Yeah, their goal is to bridge like number theory and geometry. Like the holy grail is to basically just bridge everything, like everything, show that everything is related to everything else. That's kind of the goal of the geometric Langlands program.
That's interesting. I feel like, it's so interesting that you say that, because there's something about that in music too, where I think there's certain people in music who do want that, but I'm sure. Are there, like, traditionalists in math who kind of want the maths to stay separated? Are there people in math who kind of just see it as, like, there's geometry, there's numerology, and then...
Number theory. Numerology is like like, you know, like the people who talk about, like, astrology with numbers?
Yeah.
That's numerology,
Okay,
yeah.
my bad. But, people who believe things like that, are there people who say they need to be their own thing? They need to be their own deepness, and we can't merge them, because then it would just... miss the point of the specificness of what it is. Do other people who say that in math?
I think there are people I could imagine that would say that the gaps in mathematical fields are inherent because, like, in any field, right? If you think about like what's the difference between physics and chemistry, right?
Okay.
It's the types of questions you ask. That's literally it. That's the only thing that like separates geometry from algebra. It's just the types of questions we ask.
It's interesting because I feel like in music, a lot of the time, I have this belief personally that I never genre myself. I never call myself a jazz musician. I actually don't know too much about jazz. I never call myself a rock genre musician or any sort of genre like that. I really do believe in a sense of taking things from every genre to make something that is your own and you, right? Something that you really connect with more in your own way. And I think in music specifically, there's a lot of traditionalists who say, no, jazz is jazz and rock is rock and classical is classical, and you can't merge them, you can't change them, and theory is theory. And you can't have anything else. You can't expand upon the theory that we already have. It is the way that it is, and if you say otherwise, then you're really missing the point.
Yeah, I mean, there
almost like they're music snobs, basically.
Yeah, like there isn't a lot of that, I don't think, in math, because people generally want fields to be connected because it leads to more rich results. But there is definitely a sense of like pedantry in something similar, in rigor. So, like this guy Bourbaki, guys, it was like a collection. Are we going the right way?
Yeah.
We're in like
Shit, wait, no, we're not.
Uh-oh.
It's this way.
Okay.
I know exactly where we are.
Okay.
Because I ate Dave's Hot Chicken the other day and it was fire.
There's one in Queens, right?
It's so good. It's so good. And it's not that spicy if you get like light, mild, or mild. It's like, I mean, it's honestly, I would never get hot.
I love jumping in muddy puddles.
He's jumping in muddy puddles.
Sorry, what were you saying?
Okay. But yes, I totally recommend Dave's Hot Chicken. It's really good. It's like honestly my go-to place here. Because it's just good, man.
I honestly, personally, I'm going to have to respectfully disagree. As I like the fries. I
don't like the chicken?
I don't like the chicken.
Okay.
I never cared for it.
Some people say, I never cared about the Godfather.
I never cared about the Godfather. It insists upon itself.
It insists upon itself, Lois. It insists upon itself. But
I never cared for it. Never cared for Dave's Hot Chicken.
That's interesting. I mean, how can you say that when you haven't even given it a chance?
Never cared for it. Never cared for it.
But
it insists upon itself.
Liz, I thought the sauce was great. Listen, I've heard a lot of people claiming that Dave's Hot Chicken sauce is subpar or average, and I really disagree. I actually really like the sauce. I think
the sauce is subpar. Like, because why? Okay, and also the chicken isn't good. Like, it's not.
Bro, the chicken is pretty good. It's pretty well breaded.
I don't think so. Like, compare it to like Nathan's famous hot dogs, right? Like,
okay.
When I was a kid, when I was in first grade, I wrote a review because for my first grade class, Miss Shapiro had us write reviews for restaurants, and I wrote a review, and Nathan's Famous posted it on their Facebook page.
Okay, listen, I'll agree with you that Nathan's Famous Chicken is better.
Nathan's Famous, like, they're a hot dog place.
I know, but they sell chicken.
Yeah, their chicken tenders are better.
I agree.
And they're a hot dog place.
But they do have good chicken, right? But I never said that Dave's Hot Chicken is the best chicken ever. I'm just saying here in Boston, out of the many different restaurants, out of the Taco Bell and out of the Wendy's that are by my campus, I would much rather get Dave's Hot Chicken because you get 2 huge pieces of chicken for like $14, and they're actually pretty good, and they're like well made and they're seasoned, and you get a bang for your buck. It's a lot for a little.
But it's like, why would I want a lot of bad, like mediocre chicken? You know, when I could have like...
Well, because in my opinion, I don't think it's mediocre. I just think it's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, like, part of it is not the chicken itself. Part of it is the atmosphere. Like, nobody goes to a diner to get good food, right? You go to a diner for the atmosphere.
I disagree. I think...
Okay.
Because diner food is slaps, bro.
It's good. But the reason you go there, you don't go there for the food, right? No, like if you're craving chicken, right, you could go to like somewhere else. Like if you're craving something specific, nobody goes to the diner because they're craving everything, right? Nobody goes to the diner because they're craving something specific, I guess. Instead, they go because, you know, the aesthetic, and I guess you're right.
Yo, I love the chicken though. The chicken is the aesthetic, bro.
No, but like, my point is like Dave's Hot Chicken, like, there's a very specific vibe. Like when you go in there, like you go there for the vibe, right? That's what I think.
I love the Dave's Hot Chicken vibe, bro.
No, I do. I agree. That's what I'm saying. Like the point is not the chicken. It's like the friends we made along the way, you know?
I totally agree, bro. It's not about A or B. It's about in between.
Yeah, or maybe I think that maybe it's about both. You know, I hear a lot
Yeah.
about like people talking about like the journey, and I totally agree. Like so many people, we were talking about this earlier, get obsessed with like
either the destination or the journey, but you kind of learn.
Not to take it too seriously.
Wait. That way.
Okay, my feet are dirty because I stepped in.
Bro's wearing sandals. You're fucking. Oh my god, you're gonna get.
I stepped in muddy puddles with my sandals.
He has like mold growing on his feet now.
I don't, bro. What? They're like, there's one black spot.
He has like 7 black toes. He has 7 black toes, and
bro.
one of his toes are made of iron and gold.
And the other one is from like ivory, bro.
He has 3 golden toenails, and it's kind of freaking me out.
Okay. Like George Washington toenails.
George Washington teeth toenails.
And so I think you just want to like risk it.
Bro, there's 2 cars. There are 2 cars incoming. I'm not risking it.
Yo, let's jaywalk. All right,
Okay.
I'm gonna do it. Okay. What I was saying though was that
We need mics, bro.
Yeah, we need to get microphones. And when we get home, we should buy like an actual microphones that we can like actually record.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's a real thing.
Honestly, for the podcast to be like really, really good, we need to like forget that there's a camera. Like we
Yeah.
need to just talk, you know?
Yeah, and also, but I think we're getting too meta, and I'm not even sure if this will necessarily be a thing. I want it to be a thing, but I don't want to get too meta because I feel like when you get too meta on anything,
I feel like, okay, but the thing is, before we start actually having conversations, we need to have an episode dedicated to like our background and like the positions we've already established, so that when people hear our conversations, they like fully understand like our language like in its entirety.
Yeah, and
you know what I mean?
Like, because for me, like I say I'm a mathematician here, but in reality, obviously, I'm not a professional mathematician. Right?
Yeah, and obviously,
I'm just a guy who does math. Like I like doing math in my free time.
Obviously, I don't have a degree in songwriting yet. We're both 17. You know, we're not. You know, we don't have any degrees or anything, but that's what we're going to school for.
The F students are the inventors.
Yeah, except we're not. We're going to summer programs for the schools. Like he's at the Harvard program. I'm at the Berkeley program, Berkeley School of Music, and obviously you know Harvard.
Fartbird, more like. Ha.
Yeah, he. I don't think he wants to go to Harvard, but.
Well, I think like I don't like I like Brown.
Yeah, he wants to go to Brown.
And okay, wait, what were we talking about before? With the. Oh yeah, the destinations, right?
Yeah.
So too often we focus on getting to a specific place, right? Like if you think of like Olympic gold medal winners, like they spend their whole lives trying to win the Olympic gold medal, and then they win it, and then it's like now what? And a lot of them get genuinely depressed.
Yeah.
Like they you know.
Like Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Like Robin Williams.
It's lonely at the top, you know? So I could imagine, like, don't take it too seriously. We're all insignificant and we're all gonna die. So don't take yourself too seriously, because.
But at the same time, I think it's I don't know. I think it's always both. I think you should take everything seriously and not seriously, because then.
I think you should take it seriously within the bounds of what you're doing. We're using that framework, right? But you should have knowledge that you're using that framework.
Elite ball knowledge.
Yeah, elite ball knowledge.
Right, yeah. Like, I don't know, I've always had this idea of, like, because we were also talking about this idea of how every human being is like, if you really strip everything that makes them who they are, there's nothing different about them, right? Except, I mean, and we're not talking.
That's what I'm saying.
We're not talking. Well, I don't mean physically or like anything. I'm just saying, like,
what makes us, like, we're all, like,
we have layers.
Yeah, like, we're all looking at, like, and if you strip enough of those layers, like, you'll get something.
You'll get something that's, no different.
No. What I'm saying is, like, we all look at the same thing, but from these different filters, and, like, a lot of times, we have masks, right? Ourselves are masks.
Yeah.
Right? And there is no, like, we have different, like, fundamentally, right? People view the world differently, but some of those differences are not, like, part of one's essence, right? They're not part of their natural tendencies or dispositions or what they're attracted to, right? Sometimes they're defense mechanisms, right? Sometimes people, they get this notion, like, I am a this, I am a that, right? And they get attracted to that. They think this is the truth.
And it becomes more than just a mask. It becomes what they think is reality.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they get very hung up in the fact that they are this and that they are that, or that they're not this.
You're not anything.
But yeah, you're not. And I think a lot of the times knowing that maybe these things make you up, but at the same time, nothing in essence has to, how do I say this? Not everything everything that happens to you specifically, and you react the way you do innately because of it. But
because of your past experiences too.
Yeah, obviously, but
it's contingent on.
But at the same time,
exposed to.
But if you've never done anything, if there was a person who never had any experiences ever in their entire life, then they wouldn't really be anything.
Well, I think they would be something.
Well,
if things they were like. Well,
if all of your experiences weren't any experience, like if you were not even, like, if you were just nothing, like if you'd never been anywhere, never seen anyone, never talked.
You were alive?
Sure, I guess somehow. If you were just not even, you weren't even exposed to the planet.
Your eyelids were closed, like your ears were shut, like with noise canceling headphones.
And you couldn't move or anything.
But then that lack of experience, paradoxically, is an experience in itself.
Yeah, it is.
And you are shaped by that lack of experience.
Yeah, but the thing is, that experience is unlike anything any other person ever in the entire world
relate to.
Yeah.
And that ties it back to what we were talking about in the beginning, right? If your experience and what you are knowledgeable of is so different from everybody else, right? Can you relate to them? Can you exist in a society when your experiences are fundamentally different from everyone else's?
I do honestly think so.
I agree.
Because I think, again, like I said, a lot of people think that the layers that they have on that make them who they are who they are, but they're not.
Yeah, like, it just requires, if you are in such a position, I think it requires just going a little bit deeper, actually.
It's different words for the same sort of thing, right? Like,
yeah.
Math and music are fundamentally different, and they have different things in them that make them different, right? In our reality, in our physical reality, there are rules to them that we know specifically that the other doesn't, but we can still talk about them to each other because innately they're just names to things, right?
Yeah. And we I agree. And I think this has been a really, really interesting conversation.
Yeah. So I agree. I'm at my dorm right now, and he needs to get his phone so he could call an Uber because he needs to go back to campus.
Yep. So yeah, this has been the podcast.
The Elite Ball Knowledge podcast from just two yappers, bro. Like, genuinely. All right. Bye.